Hi, I'm Kylie Jade. I'm a tattoo artist normally, but otherwise on here you see me as an artist through digital art and traditional media, but I am also a huge Final Fantasy nerd. And so today I wanted to talk about my favorite Final Fantasy series and how they rank. Most of them are going to be just the ones I've played. I do have a few that I've watched other people play throughout the whole thing. Other than that, we are going to rank them from favorites. I'm just doing a standard ranking from S to D. This is going to be my first video on ranking because I want to play through all of the Final Fantasy games, hopefully. I've been replaying Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy VIII right now. I have Final Fantasy VIII, or not Final Fantasy VIII, but Final Fantasy X and X-2 ordered right now. I do own a lot of them on like all the back consoles, so like I have like Final Fantasy 13 for the PS3 and 10 and X-2 for the PS2, but I just don't want to try and get everything, all those cords unwrapped and get it all put back up and set up only to just take it down again and whatnot. So I plan on trying to get them for the newer consoles so then I can just do it on one place. And I might even record me playing them once I get a card capture, but I'm not sure yet. But for now, like I said, we are going to do a ranking video of my favorite Final Fantasy games if you want to go ahead and try and guess what they are, but it's pretty obvious if you know exactly what I've been drawing and stuff. But we'll try it anyways. This is my first me video. We'll see how comfortable I feel with that for other videos. But for now, let's get to it. I am gonna try and screen record while I am doing this. I am old and I am new to this, so I'm a millennial and I don't know much about this stuff, but I will try. So I set it in arrangement of the numbers numerically, I guess. Starting with 6, ending with 13. Yes, ending with 13 because that's the last one I believe I played. I did watch my spouse play 14. Or not 14, sorry, 15, but I don't count that. And then also I did not include 11 or 14 because they are online and I have not played them, and nor do I really intend to, nor do I intend to rank them just because they are MMORPGs. And what's the words for it? Viewer discretion advised. No, not viewer discretion advised. Your enjoyment may vary from like someone like me who I don't really enjoy MMORPGs. So we are going to start from Final Fantasy VI. I played this, actually I did not play this on the PlayStation 1, or was 6 on Nintendo? Anyways, I did not play this on the original console. I actually played this on the PSP, when they had a re-release of it. It was pretty good. It wasn't my favorite. It was interesting to say the very least. I really did like some of the characters. As someone who was spoiled by more of the late visual Final Fantasy games, getting into the older ones where they were more 8-bit and like just little avatars and stuff, it wasn't as exciting. But when I got really into the story, I got really into the story and it was fun. So I think I will place Final Fantasy VI. Let's see here. I will place it into B category. I never finished it. I'm so sorry. Like I said, the next time I do this tier list, when I go to like, when I go to review it, go through the list that I made after I've replayed a lot of these, I probably will change that. I do feel bad that I never finished that. I'm so sorry. For the next one, we have Final Fantasy VII. I played Final Fantasy VII actually way later. I want to say after I actually played 9. And to say I was disappointed is sad. I probably have the worst take of Final Fantasy VII, like the original one, that would make a lot of hardcore Final Fantasy fans like really disappointed. I just never cared for 7 at first. I do nowadays, especially with the remakes, with Advent Children. I love Advent Children, and another game later that I'll talk about. I do absolutely love 7 now as an older person, but when I first played it, I did not enjoy it very much. I liked the battle system. That was perfect. I'm very much about the what's the word for it? The strategy of it. turn-based. I prefer turn-based over a lot of the more modern stuff. So that was really cool for me. So I will probably put Final Fantasy VII into the A tier. It's not gonna be one of the tops for sure. Sorry. I really also didn't, when I first played it, I didn't get the story at all. And I feel bad about that, but it really like confused me. And I would like to do a video about that and like how now I understand through it. And a lot of these games, when I played them, I was really young and I didn't know what I was doing. So a lot of it was just me playing it for the gameplay and beat monsters up and strategy and stuff. Love Final Fantasy VII now, but I would still just put it in A tier, especially when compared to the next one, which is Final Fantasy VIII, which if you haven't already guessed it from a lot of the art I've done, Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite game of the whole entire season, of the whole franchise of Final Fantasy. And my reason for that is it's a lot more modern. I'm not a big fantasy kind of person, not nowadays. Back when I was a kid, I really loved like Aragon and like a lot of fantasy based stories. I loved dragons, like I was all about that stuff. But as I've gotten older, and especially when I got into my teenage years, which Final Fantasy VIII was the very first Final Fantasy game I was given, and I was given it by one of my friends, and I just immediately loved it. I fell in love with Final Fantasy VIII. I can't even say. And I didn't even understand the story. So like, I'm a 12-year-old. I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII, not even understanding just how important like the like plot of just war and people who are stuck in war and like these sorceresses and how like they basically stage coups to get into power and just all that stuff and how like the corruption of the sorcerers work. Not once hit me as a child. I just thought, ooh, cool, I'm in school and I'm like got gunblade. So actually, I really did love Final Fantasy, especially when I started to understand it. So like when I got it when I was 12, I thought the draw point system was to like literally draw on screen. And then when it didn't, I was like, what is this? I don't understand what I'm doing. But so I basically played it by the skin of my teeth. I did really pretty good considering I did not know what I was doing and I did not care about the story when I was younger. And then I started replaying it constantly because it really like immediately became my favorite game. And I started just getting addicted to the story as I got older and I started understanding what certain things meant and like just like the background stuff and how like they're connected to the characters and stuff. Even funnier fact is I didn't figure out that, spoiler alert, Laguna is Squall's father until I played Dissidia many years later. So anyways, Final Fantasy VIII will get absolutely, S tier. Final Fantasy VIII is the best. Fight me in the comments, I guess. Please don't fight me. I'm very sensitive. But yeah, I very much love Final Fantasy VIII. I am addicted to Triple Triad right now, which I also didn't get into until my play of the remastered right now. I'm addicted. I love Final Fantasy VIII. Can't go wrong. Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy IX, I got to play quite a bit of. I really didn't care for the story at first. I still kind of don't. I love the characters though. Zidane is amazing. And a lot of those characters are incredible. The world building is really nice. And for a visual that struck me like as like so off from 8. And so 9 was the one that I played right after 8. And 9, those characters are not like, they do not look anything visually like 8. And like the cutscenes, everything. It's just so different in style, which like really struck me at first. And I was like, oh no, what? Why do these guys got big heads and little bodies? This is so weird. But I pretty much fell in love with it once I started actually playing it. Vivi, everybody loves Vivi. If you don't love Vivi, you're a liar. But Vivi was great. And just the story behind it, like the clones of Vivi. Anyways, nonetheless, the gameplay was also great. Still turn-based. Loved it. No complaint. I will say that is definitely above 7. Sorry, Cloud. Love you, Cloud. But I really enjoyed 9. I really loved that ending. That was a good ending. For endings for most of them, I really would think that I pretty much loved most of these ones' endings. I didn't care for 7's. I'm sorry. And the next one, I didn't care for its ending either. Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X was really cool, and especially for moving on to the PS2. I actually played Final Fantasy X after Final Fantasy X-2. I'll explain that when I get to the next one. Final Fantasy X was really cool. I really liked the characters. I love Tidus. I love Yuna. I'm not crazy over Yuna. She kind of became like, I can't think of the word for it, but she was very simple. That's all I can think of to say. But all of the supporting casts, I'm a big Lulu and Waka like simp. I love those two as a couple. They are my favorite. It had amazing characters. I'm not even gonna lie. It had a really good gameplay. The gameplay was boss. I can't even, like, oh my god. So yes, this, like, the build with the spheres and stuff, that was actually really cool. At the time, I definitely didn't appreciate it when I got to play it at first. But when I really got towards the end of the game, I was like, oh, this makes sense. Why we're building it like this makes sense. And it also like set ways for the way that a lot of other RPGs play now, especially with the dressing up of or the progression through power levels and scaling and stuff. I really loved Final Fantasy X. I still don't love the ending. I actually really hate the ending of 10. I hate the ending. I hate the plot. It doesn't make sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me. I know I watch a lot of videos discussing it, and like I get where people are going with it, but it's so stupid and convoluted. That one gets a B. I'm sorry. Final Fantasy X, it is what it is. It is visually just beautiful, but just that plot, ouch. Like, no, thank you. So next up we have 10-2. 10-2 is my favorite Final Fantasy game other than 8. It's secondary. It was one where I was 12 years old and the advertisements came out, and oh my god, that music slapped. It slapped so good. Final Fantasy X-2 has the best soundtrack. Again, fight me, I don't care. I love 10-2. The reason why I tend to be kind of hesitant on talking about it, especially I've brought this up to people who have asked me about what to play and which order to play them or whatnot, which, by the way, you don't have to play Final Fantasy, any of them in order. Most of them tend to be standalones. 10-2 is a follow-up to 10, but it also can be its own standalone. You are going to get the gist of it if you play it without playing 10. I did. I played 10-2 first. 10-2 is really cool. Dress spheres are amazing. The reason why I tend to be hesitant about talking about it and like suggesting it to people is all of the protagonists are women, which to me is not a problem. That's the coolest thing ever. I'm like, yes, girls. But to somebody who more traditionally, like men who play or guys who don't really or might see that as a gimmick, which I don't think is played out as a gimmick. I really think that it just makes the game cool and from the start. And it's really like the characters aren't like, it's not like it's girl power Spice Girls takes over Final Fantasy. It really does a really good job with its protagonist and its viewpoint without shoving it down your throat, and with taking the perspective of this damsel in distress that was Final Fantasy X. I'm sorry, I still Yuna's very simple. It takes that and it changes it in a way that still gives all of its credit to 10 and all this love, but it makes it its own thing, and it makes Yuna actually a lot more of a bearable character. She's a lot more of a kick-ass person, which I enjoy. I am absolutely a Riku and Pain stan though, so I'm not as in love with Yuna, but I do really love this game. I even love LeBlanc. LeBlanc is everything. I'm sorry. Like, I remember when that massage scene came out, and like back when I used to watch G4 Tech TV, and like they'd be making fun of it, and I was just like, actually that's pretty cool. Like, I don't know why, but LeBlanc was cool. I love LeBlanc. I loved all these characters from the 10 universe, actually, for the most part, even if I think Yuna is simple. But she was kick-ass in this game. The weird plot with Yunalesca, I don't know. But like, if you ignore that, like, the rest of it's good. The Yojimbo stuff is so fun. I love 10-2. 10-2 goes behind 8 in my heart forever, because those are the first two games basically I played that I very much loved. I played 10-2 after 9, and it felt like a breeze and felt like going back to 8. Like, it was just good, and it was fun. Next up, I'm actually going to skip over to, I believe, 12. No 11, like I said, that is an MMORPG, and experiences vary. But with 12, I was so excited for 12. I really was. When it first got announced, I was like, yes, another Final Fantasy. Give me. I need to eat it. I love it. Oh my god. And the art, beautiful. Like, every single like cutscene I would see in a commercial made me want this, and I ended up asking for a gift from my family, and I was like immediately tearing it open, getting it ready, and then I went to play it and I said, this sucks. Oh my god, I hate this game so much. And it was because of the battle. I know a lot of people don't like turn-based. I know a lot of people want their action, like their battling to be action now, like kind of stuff. I am not about that. Like, I am very slow. Like, no, but I am not a person who like thinks fast with that kind of stuff with battling. I don't have like super quick reflexes, so this wasn't for me. I like turn-based. It makes me feel like I'm like doing a good job at my video games, and I can't say that I'm terrible with reflexes or anything. I play Resident Evil and Silent Hill, and I love those, and I've gotten really far, especially like with Resident Evil 4, all considering. Like, I am not dumb with these games. Like, I can still play a normal video game that isn't turn-based or like strategy or has to stop and think. 12, when I first played it, the cutscenes were gorgeous. I was immediately won over by that at first. And then I get to the battling, and it's like, okay, so you have your characters, and they're on the field, and they've got these little circles around them. And like, it was like, it would have to charge every time you attacked. And like, it just didn't make sense. And then your enemy is like attacking you also. Like, it's just going, and you're just like, when can I attack again? Maybe I was playing it wrong. And I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't play it any further. I think I turned it on twice to see if maybe I was dumb and I just wasn't figuring it out. And both times I just kept losing all the time, and I was like, no, this isn't for me. This isn't my kind of a game. I just don't. I appreciate that Final Fantasy did make the changes with its like battle system and came into the modern ages with that, but Final Fantasy 12 was a really rough start to it. I did not enjoy it. I don't know why I don't have an F tier, but it would absolutely go to F tier. I'm so sorry, but I'll put it D here. I mean, it really does have a good story. And I've read later on for the rest of the story because I never finished it. I didn't like it. So I read the story. It is a really good story. All those characters are awesome. It's just that battle system really, it did not work for me. Next up we have 13. I'm just gonna put that in D. I didn't like it. I don't like Final Fantasy 13. Didn't like 13 too. I didn't put that on here because I never finished 13 too. I didn't like either of them. The battle system sucked. Didn't care for the characters. Snow got on my nerves. That's all I gotta say. And you would think I would like Snow, but I don't. The characters, just Lightning was just Cloud over again. Sorry. I like what Lightning was supposed to represent for a lot of us, but no, she's just Cloud. Next up, I am going to do Final Fantasy Tactics. When I first got Final Fantasy Tactics, that was when I was also playing 9 and 8, and I saw it. It was at Shopko or Kmart in the little glass case back in the days, and you used to have a TV that you could play on, like there, that they would have a sample of a lot of games. And I saw the case next to Parasite Eve, and I didn't know what Parasite Eve was either, and I was kind of trying to pick between the two of them. I was like, do I get Parasite Eve or do I get Tactics? And like, this is a Final Fantasy game. This is one that has a really cool cover. And I picked the Final Fantasy game because I thought, oh, I know Final Fantasy. It's gorgeous cutscenes and turn-based. And boy, could I not have been more wrong. Final Fantasy Tactics is a tactics war kind of game. It plays a lot like Advance Wars, which at the time I did not like either. I did not like Final Fantasy Tactics at first, and it was because I had expectations from Final Fantasy VIII, and I did not know what I was going into. I had never seen any ads for it. I had never like played or looked at it in a video game magazine, nothing like that. So I was not a smart kid as a kid, but I didn't like it at first. I was like, what am I playing? Like, what is this? How do I do what? Like, you have to wait for forever for all these other turns, and like, it's like chess. But it is a really good game. So 2 years later, I want to say after I bought it and I had given it up. I think I gave it up in the first battle with Ramza and I forget. I think you're going up against some thieves or something like that. And like, I just gave up. I died so many times. It wasn't even worth it at first because I didn't understand what I was doing. I was like, why do I not have Gunblade? Why am I not going boom, boom? Like, so I didn't like it. Then I went to go and replay it when I was older. And I want to say I was like 14 or 15. And I just had this summer where I was just sitting inside playing video games nonstop, and I had beaten like Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2 and stuff. So then I go to play Tactics again because I was out of games to play, and like I just clicked. It clicked with me. I was like, oh, this is strategy. This is like real strategy. And like, I had already played Advance Wars by then, and I started getting into that. One of my friends had let me play with his Game Boy Advance and play his Advance Wars game, and so I got it, and I was like, oh my god. And then I'm like paying attention to the story, and I'm like, ah! So I really love Final Fantasy Tactics. I think I beat it that year when I played the original. So this one is Final Fantasy Tactics for the PS1. It was really good, really fun. All the characters are beautiful. Even just the pixel art is incredibly gorgeous, and the way it plays through. The story, I cannot say enough about the story. Like, especially nowadays when we are like going through some stuff ourselves with political things, it really, you can relate Final Fantasy Tactics to a lot of that if you think about it. It's a lot like how BioShock Infinite hit me. It's just like when you get into it, you get really into it. You tend to apply a lot of it to real life. So yeah, I really enjoyed Tactics. Second playthrough. First playthrough, not so much. So I'm gonna give it an A, only because of the first playthrough having been rough. I'll put it before Final Fantasy IX. And then I did play Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which is yeah, when I went to play it, because it was on the Game Boy Advance, of course, that's why the title is Advance. And I thought it would just be a retelling of the Tactics game from the PS1, but it actually is its own story. It's a whole different one, and it's a modern take, by the way. It plays much like a modern, like, or well, the story bits have a much more modern perspective, a lot like 8. My boyfriend at the time, he was the one who introduced me to it, and he just like, at first I was like, why is this not Tactics? And then it does play a lot like it. It's really cool in the way how the narration of the plot works, and how it does like kind of call back to Tactics, the one for the PS1, but it has its own standalone story. It's got a lot of political intrigue and rivalries and stuff like that. It's good. I very much love the jobs and the job art, like the pixels for the job art professions. Yeah, I love it. It's great. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance goes lower than Tactics just because my expectations weren't the same. But it was really good. It's definitely an A tier game. I do have it. I do want to replay it. I have a Game Boy Advance. It's in my list. It's gonna be replayed this year probably because it was just such a good game. Next up, we have Dirge of Cerberus. Actually, I would put it up above Final Fantasy 13. Dirge of Cerberus is a cool spin-off of the Final Fantasy 7 stuff with Vincent. If you don't know, Vincent's the vampire character of Final Fantasy 7. He's pretty okay. I'm not into him. A lot of my friends are hardcore Vincent girls. Or boys also. I gotta say, some of them are boys, and they really simp hard for Vincent. I personally was never in that. I I did have a few doujinshis of Vincent and Sephiroth, but that is no one's business here or there. Dirge of Cerberus goes in C. It was pretty okay. The attack system, third person shooter, it was alright. I wasn't too into it. I did have fun. A lot of the stunts, like the action parts, are really cool. No complaints, but actually I'm gonna put it in B. It was okay. It was just alright. Like, it was cool. It definitely gave more to the story of Vincent, but at the same time, I don't know, I wasn't crazy over it. Next up is one that I'm crazy over. Next one is one that I'm so insane about. I have a tattoo. I have a tattoo of Zack Fair because he is my favorite Final Fantasy VII character. I don't know why anybody likes any of the other characters from Final Fantasy VII. Zack is the best. And after Crisis Core, it stabled him down as my favorite. I do not see Cloud as existing most of the time because Zack was there first. Ouch. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Please don't fight me in the comments about that. Zack is cool. Zack is simple, and I love him for it. Thank you. He is very cute. So Crisis Core is definitely my favorite, like, of the 7 series. Even I love it more than I love Advent Children, and I love the movie Advent Children so much that I have it memorized from the first to the end lines. I love Advent Children. So Crisis Core is pretty close to that. Crisis Core is a really good game. It plays like a Kingdom Hearts game, which makes sense why I would love it also. I was huge into Kingdom Hearts. I never stopped playing Kingdom Hearts for forever. Most of my high school was making up excuses, like my high school experience of making up excuses of why I couldn't hang out with my friends, so I could in fact play Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2. So I really, really, really loved the Crisis Core battle system, especially for not being exactly turn-based. It did a really good job. It plays like Kingdom Hearts. I cannot say that enough. It has, you know, like certain abilities are allocated to certain buttons, and so then you use them in order. It's cool. I love it. The story is amazing and incredible, and Zack is the best boy ever. Sephiroth actually does play a much bigger role in Crisis Core, and it's really incredible. It's incredible to see him go from, like, or actually, like, kind of in reverse of seeing how he was before he would be the best villain of all time. So honestly, like, that was great. I loved the backstory with Genesis. It was, Crisis Core is so good. It was really good. You get to see a lot of the characters, like, when they were younger. I believe Tifa for sure, and Yuffie. It's been a while since I played it. It's still in my PSP, waiting for me to come back to it. I probably will. I don't know if I'm going to play the reunion one. I know that came out. We can talk about the Final Fantasy VII remake after this. But yeah, this is an S tier game. It goes after Final Fantasy X too. Crisis Core had me. Crisis Core, I saw the game at Shopko and drooled at it for forever. Finally got it after I graduated from high school, and never looked back, and I've never thought about anything else ever since. That's why I've got Zack on my shoulder here, because he's everything. Next up is Final Fantasy Dissidia. I do not like Final Fantasy Dissidia. I actually despise Final Fantasy Dissidia. I can't say I despise it because I liked the story. I enjoyed the stories. I liked the characters and how they meshed and like whatnot. Because it takes the characters from all the different games, certain selected characters, and puts them all in a world where they have to battle and whatnot. It is really a unique idea. It was really cool. The battle system sucks ass. The battle system was the worst part of it. I really got stuck. Maybe I'm just dumb, because I gave this to my husband back when we were dating to play, and he knocked it out of the park. He got through it. I could just be very bad at these games. I'm so sorry, but I love Final Fantasy games still, even if I'm bad at them. Dissidia did not do it for me. The battles were hard. I couldn't figure out what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was button mashing, as always, because that's the only way I know how to do something when I don't understand it. Laguna. If you don't know, Laguna is my favorite character besides Zack of all Final Fantasy games. it's Laguna and Zach, and then far below is everybody else. So Laguna is in, I don't know if he's in the first one of Dissidia or 12, which 12 isn't really, 12 isn't really the 12th one in Dissidia. It's 012. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I really should do some research. But anyways, it was the second Dissidia game. I don't know if Laguna was in that one or if he was in the first one, but that's where I ended up getting told, oh, hey, Laguna is Squall's dad, by Laguna making a reference. And I was like, what? And I continued to go talk to my friends about it, who they all claimed that they knew and knew forever, and that I was dumb. And I have never been the same since. But I do, again, spoiler, I am so sorry if I spoiled that for you and you didn't know. Laguna is Squall's dad. You're welcome. So yeah, that was different, and it was cool to find out. And so you get these plot points that you wouldn't have gotten, or maybe you would have gotten, but like they get more pointed out through character development in these Dissidia games, and they were all right. But that battle system sucked, so it's going in C. Yay, C. It was all right. I really wish I would have gotten to actually like be good at it, but watching my husband play it, he was really good at it, and he did a really good job. And like, yeah. Okay, we're back. So I had to let my dog out, and I apologize about that. So we're just going to talk about War of the Lions again, because that's where I'm going to probably cut and edit. War of the Lions Final Fantasy Tactics is Final Fantasy Tactics all over again. The difference is that there are cutscenes. They are gorgeous. They look like hand sketches. That's what makes it really pretty. I don't know how to explain it. They have like these scratchies, like if you were hand drawing and you just kind of sketched it through. It's really cool. I'm actually painting a scene from Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions right now for Traditional Thursdays, if you are tuning into the art that I've been doing. So stay tuned with that. I'm so sorry I'm out of breath. I let my dog out. He was very insistent that he had to be in here to get to the cats. So yeah, War of the Lions is a really good new addition to Tactics. It's kind of like a remake, but it has new additions to it, such as the cutscenes, the music, the voice acting. I believe there wasn't voice acting in the original Final Fantasy Tactics. There's a few new scenes. I don't think there are new characters that I remember. There could be, but I don't know. I've played it about 14 times. I love War of the Lions. It's a good remake. I play it on my Vita. It came out for the PSP, I believe. But I had it on my Vita, and I just constantly replay that whenever I boot up my Vita. Fun fact, my Vita is the one that I'm going to be playing 10 and 10-2 on. If I get that, I ordered it, hopefully. I don't know if there's going to be the code for 10-2 in it. I thought I was ordering it new, and then it said like new, and I was like, uh-oh. But we'll see. So yeah, I really love War of the Lions. It is fantastic. Compared to 8, hello! Compared to 8, it's really good. It's fun. It's not, because like, so right now, as I said, I'm playing Final Fantasy 8. I'm playing that on my Switch, the remastered version. And then I am playing Final Fantasy Tactics, War of Lions. And I like them both pretty equally right now, the way I'm playing them. The only thing is I'm so stuck on side quests. Like, I'm not stuck on them. I'm just, like, obsessed with doing them. So, like, with War of the Lions or Tactics, I'm kind of, like, every 3 seconds checking the errands part at the taverns and doing those, and then just battling and leveling up my characters. Fun other fact, put a pin in it. So, with War of the Lions, the power scaling, because power scaling was another thing that I learned as I was getting older. I didn't know that Final Fantasy VIII power scales with you. So I used to run my characters all to level 99. I used to just like what's the word for it? I would just go and battle for long hours, just do random battles around the world and just like level up to 99. Well, it turns out that all your enemies do the same thing. So wherever you are with your levels, that's where the enemies are. So fun fact is that Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, sorry, I'm talking so fast. With Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, the monsters, like the random encounters, will level up with you, but for the most part, the bosses don't. So that's been really fun to find out. I have my characters in tactics because I've been running errands and then just running my characters back and forth and doing wild encounters till the errands are done. So like I've found that I'm way too overpowered for bosses, but like dang, those black chocobos, they're meteors. Like it's like, oh man. So yeah, that's been fun. I really do enjoy War of the Lions. I would absolutely put it in the S tier. It's going right behind Crisis Core. So with that being said, if you look at my tier list, I have most of them in pretty good spots. Let's see. I absolutely am going to stick by the fact that 13 goes to D. I don't know. I might move 12 up to C just because I never finished it. And with me replaying Final Fantasy games, I do actually want to replay 12. I feel like I would get it so much better. I feel like I would get the attack system, a whole battle system, whatever you want to call it, way better than I used to. So for now I will put it at C because I think I did not give it a fair shake back then. And, Dissidia, I'll keep at D because yeah, the story is awesome. Dirge of Cerberus gets a B because it's average. It's just meh. 6, it can stay in B because it's cool. 6 was alright. I just don't really like. I remember a lot of it, but it wasn't memorable. And also, like, as a Final Fantasy person who wasn't quite at that time into the old school ones either, it wasn't for me at that time. 10 is definitely B tier. Plot sucks. Sorry. And the laugh. Come on. It's the plot is so convoluted and voice acting is so that like it has its own meme. That's how great Final Fantasy X is, that it needs to be in B tier. Final Fantasy 7 as A makes sense. It, like I said, I'm so sorry. I know there's a lot of diehard Final Fantasy 7 fans out there. I do love it nowadays. I can appreciate it, and especially in my older years, I started appreciating it. But when I first played it, it was such a letdown. I'm so sorry. Again, 9 was great. A tier for sure, above 7. Tactics Advance, good. Tactics, and then War of the Lions is above Tactics, which makes so much sense, to be honest. Crisis Core 10-2, which is my second favorite Final Fantasy, and 8 is my first and most biggest favorite. Oh gosh, I got stuck on favorite. But yeah, some of the ones that I wanted to talk about, I kind of remember Chocobo Racing, not enough. I kind of remember the crawler dungeon games, not enough. Crystal Chronicles, I do believe I played, but don't remember a single thing about it. I'm trying to think of anything else that I might have missed. 13-2, like I said, I didn't like 13, and like 13-2, I got through the first cutscene, I was like, nah. And Lightning Returns, I know that was a game, but I don't even remember. So I worked at GameStop when Lightning Returns, and I don't remember anybody ever having anything to say about it. Like, I don't even remember much of it. Other than that, like I said, 14, MMORPG, so I do plan on playing that, and I would love to give you guys my opinion on that. That will happen eventually. 15, love 15, but we'll talk about that on another day. I never got to play it. I watched my husband play it and beat it and everything. I cried my little eyeballs off at the credits. 15 would definitely be on one of the top ones for sure. I want to play it personally myself, so that way I get that experience even better, and then like it can really like just sink in. I want to play all the DLC for it. I love 15, and I can't wait till I get my own personal playthrough of it. I've been talking with my husband about it, like, oh my gosh, I really need to play it, and I can't wait. And then 16, I do plan on playing this year for the first time. I have not played it at all. I haven't even watched videos for it. Well, I did watch a video of whether it was, you know, the before you buy videos. Yeah, I watched that to see if I would like it, and it does look like something I would like. So I'm going to play that this year. I'm hoping sooner than never. But it looks good. It looks really good. I do want to play 16 so bad. Other than that, what's what's your favorite Final Fantasy game? Also, please don't fight me in the comments, like I said, because I am very soft and sensitive, and I don't do well with that. Just stay respectful. I understand if you don't agree with me on stuff. It's everybody's own taste and preferences. I am so sorry if I do have shit taste. Like I said, while I claim to be a Final Fantasy fan, I am not the biggest, I'm not the best Final Fantasy player, is what I would say. I wouldn't say I'm great. I would say I am good at it. And I would say that I'm very good at Final Fantasy VIII, encyclopedia and, knowledge to, 10th degree. If somebody were to come out to me and ask me, the most simple thing of which timber maniacs to go after or something, I would be immediately, you would want to walk out of that room, but you would have new knowledge. And the same goes for 10-2 and Crisis Core. I could probably tell you everything under the sun. I 100%ed 10-2. That was great. I loved it. So anyways, that's my video for now. I am so sorry if it's rambly. This is my first time ever doing, well, not ever. I used to try and do anime reviews, but this is my first time of doing a video with this new rebrand. I am so sorry if it's bad. I will try and edit and make sure it comes out good. Again, I am old. I'm a millennial, I'm not very versed in this stuff, but I will try my hardest. And I really do look forward to you guys seeing some of my other art that I do. I would really love to get to do even more. Especially I would love to do art pertaining to all of my favorite things and not just Final Fantasy, but I've been on a big Final Fantasy kick right now. I'm trying to break that. My next Procreate Tuesday is actually not Final Fantasy related, so you're welcome. It was hard. I have a bazillion ideas for really cool Final Fantasy fan art. I have one for Irvine right now from Final Fantasy VIII, but I will sleep on it. But yes, thank you so much. Do whatever. Enjoy your time. What's the word for it? Have fun. Do gay. I don't know. I will think of something to say at the end of these at some point, but for now, just thank you so much for watching this, and I would very much love it if you let me know what your favorite, and if I don't get scared that you might hate my guts, I'll probably reply and talk to you about your favorites. So thank you. Bye.